Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about new topic, another important topic, which is Graham's law. What is it? Graham's law of diffusion. Graham's law of diffusion we are going to study today. And before going to that, we have to first understand once again important areas. What we have to revise is that already we have discussed about R value. R value means what? Universal gas constant. This universal gas constant value R is equal to what? 8.314 joules. In joules, we must remember this one. Important SI unit. So R is equal to 8.3143 joules mole inverse Kelvin inverse. Okay, this is R value per mole. Remember here, mole inverse meaning what? Per mole. Per mole, R value is equal to what? 8.314 joule per mole per Kelvin. Mole inverse Kelvin inverse. So this is what now here it is for 1 mole of the gas. 1 mole of the gas. Now 1 molecule of the gas. For 1 molecule of the gas, we have to remember. For 1 molecule of the gas also we have to remember what? This concept. So now universal gas constant for one single molecule. For single molecule, what is universal gas constant? We have to remember. Okay. Now here, what we have to understand is that for mole 8.314 joules per molecule we have to remember. See, gas constant, that is universal gas constant, or okay, for a single molecule, okay, what will be R value? For 1 mole, how much it is? 8.314 now. 1 mole molecules meaning what? How many molecules now? 6.023 into 10 power 23 molecules. For 6.023 into 10 power 23 molecules, R value we have taken as what? 8.314 joules. Now here we are taking for single molecule. For single molecule, what will be R value? That is called Boltzmann constant. So what is Boltzmann constant? Scientist name Boltzmann. So Boltzmann's constant K, small k, is equal to R value divided by Avogadro number. Already we have discussed it. So R value by Avogadro number. Important areas once again I'm revising here. So R value for single molecule is equal to R value divided by Avogadro number. So here R value we have taken in ergs here. 8.314 joules means 1 joule is equal to 10 power 7 ergs. So 8.314 into 10 power 7 ergs mole inverse Kelvin inverse by Avogadro number. So like this we got what now here? 1.38 into 10 power minus 23 joules mole inverse Kelvin inverse. Otherwise if we take in ergs it will be 1.38 into 10 power minus 16 ergs and 10 power minus 23 joules per mole per degree per Kelvin. Okay, so it's about what now here important concept. What we have to understand is that this one. Next important thing is that, see, the important points for calculation part. Actually, some of the students asked the doubts in numerical problems. Okay, based on that, calculation of mass, molecular mass, and density. Okay, mass of the substance, mass of the gas, molecular weight of the gas, and density of the gas by equation. So PV is equal to nRT, that is equal to N is what? Mass by molecular mass into RT. Okay, so from this we have got what? We have derived the formula what? Density formula. So this density formula, based on this, one problem was asked by one student. So sometimes they say that density of nitrogen is equal to density of oxygen. Density of nitrogen gas is equal to density of oxygen, suppose. Then what we have take? PM by RT values for nitrogen must be equal to PM by RT for oxygen gas. PM by RT values for nitrogen gas must be equated with PM by RT values of oxygen gas. For two gases, density equal they said. That's why we have to equate what? P1, M1, R, T1. R1 we don't take. Why? R is universal gas constant for all the gases, it is same. So P1, M1 by R, T1 is equal to second gas what? P2, M2 by R, T2. Like this we can equate for two gases. If they mention density of first gas is equal to density of second gas, D1 is equal to D2. Density of first gas is equal to density of second gas we have taken. That is one concept. Okay. Next one, here if density, temperature and pressure are changing or variables, Now D1 T1 by P1 is equal to what? D2 T2 by P2. So here this is relation between what now? Among the density, temperature and pressure values. Okay. So if pressure is same for two gases, P1, P2 will be same. P1 is equal to P2. Then P1, P2 get cancelled. Then what will be equation? D1 T1 is equal to D2 T2. Suppose if temperature is same for two gases. For two gases, temperature is same. Now T1 of first gas, T2 of second gas, both are same, suppose. In that case, what will be the formula? D1 by P1 is equal to D2 by P2. So when temperatures are same and when pressures are same, we can take. When densities are same, for two gases, D1 is equal to D2. D1 is equal to D2. Densities of two gases are same, suppose. In that case, what we can take now? T1 by P1 is equal to T2 by P2. That one we can take. So in this way, we have to take what now? Different equations for different conditions. Okay. Now, important point what we have to understand is that gas densities differ from those of solids and liquids. The density of a gas is different from density of solid and density of liquid. That point we have to keep in mind. Okay. So then gas densities are generally stated in what? Gram per liter. Remember, gram per liter instead of what? Gram per ml. Instead of gram per ml, what we take here? Gram per liter we take for gas densities. Remember this point. And gas densities are strongly dependent on what? Pressure and temperature. On the pressure and temperature, gas densities are dependent. That means the density of gas is directly proportional to what? Pressure. Density is directly proportional to pressure, but density is inversely proportional to temperature. Remember, density is inversely proportional to temperature, whereas density is directly proportional to pressure. Okay, so this concept we have to take care. When we increase pressure on the gas, when we go on increasing pressure on the gas, its density also will be increasing. Okay, and when we increase the temperature of gas, density will be decreasing. So density and temperature are inversely proportional. Density and pressure of the gas are directly proportional to each other. And here, densities of liquids and solids do not depend on temperature. Mostly they don't depend on temperature. Okay, so now our densities of liquids and solids do dependent somewhat on temperature, only somewhat. Only little effect of temperature will be there on density of liquids and solids, but they are far less dependent on pressure. Means the densities of solids and liquids will depend somewhat on what? Temperature, a little bit on temperature, but they will depend on what? Pressure. They will not depend on pressure here. They are very less dependent. Means what here? Almost they are not dependent on pressure. The density of liquid, density of solid will be very less dependent on what? Pressure, whereas the density of the liquid and solid will be very little dependent on what? Temperature. This point we have to make it clear. So next, the density of a gas is directly proportional to what? Its molar mass. Okay, when density of the gas and molar mass of the gas taken, when density and molar mass is taken, mass if it is more, molecular mass if it is more for the gas, density of the gas will be more. Okay, no simple relationship exists between density and molecular mass for liquids and gases, solids. For liquids and solids, there is no simple relationship between what and what? Between density and molecular mass. There is no direct relationship between what? These two quantities. For which one? For liquids and solids. But for the gases, density directly proportional to what? Molar mass, molecular mass. So this is a thing to be remembered here. Next one, density of a gas at STP. STP means what will be conditions? Standard temperature and pressure. Standard pressure is 1 bar. Standard pressure is what, ma? 1 bar. Standard temperature is what? 0 degrees Celsius. 0 degrees Celsius means 273 Kelvin. 273 Kelvin temperature and 1 bar pressure. This is called what now here? STP condition. So STP condition means what? 273 Kelvin and okay. So STP means what, ma? STP means 273 Kelvin temperature and 1 bar pressure. Remember, 1 bar pressure. But SATP also is there. One more condition. Remember, what is that? SATP. SATP means what? Standard ambient. AMBIENT. Standard ambient temperature and pressure. Here instead of STP, what we write? SATP. SATP. SATP stands for what, ma? Standard ambient temperature and pressure. Standard ambient temperature and pressure, SATP. So that SATP conditions what? 25 degrees Celsius we have taken. For SATP conditions, standard ambient temperature and pressure, instead of 0 degrees Celsius, what we take, ma? 25 degrees Celsius we take. 25 degrees Celsius plus 273 is equal to 298 Kelvin. So 298 Kelvin is standard ambient temperature, and 1 bar pressure only, standard ambient pressure. Pressure will be same. Pressure will be 1 atm, 1 bar only. But what will be temperature for SATP? 25 degrees Celsius. For STP, what is temperature? 0 degrees Celsius. 0 degrees Celsius meaning what? 273 Kelvin. And standard pressure is what? 1 bar. Instead of STP, if we take NTP, normal temperature and pressure, almost both will be similar, STP and NTP. If you take NTP, suppose normal temperature and pressure, in that case, temperature will be 0 degrees Celsius only. But the pressure will be taken 1 atm instead of 1 bar. Instead of 1 bar, what we take, ma? 1 atm pressure will be taken for NTP. For STP, what we take? 1 bar. But remember that 1 bar is almost equal to 1 atm. If you take exactly 1 atm, 1 bar, which is slightly bigger value than which one? Guess. 1 atm is bigger than what? 1. 1 atm is bigger than 1 bar, slightly. 1 atm is equal to slightly greater than what? 1 atm is slightly greater than what? 1 bar. If you take 1 bar is equal to 0.987 atm. 1 atm is equal how much? 1 bar is equal how much? 0.987 atm. You always have one pen and notebook with you. Always, whenever we are discussing topic, please have one pen and one notebook, so that you can write important points, whatever you feel to write. Okay. And what I told extra point here, SATP I told. SATP means what? Standard ambient temperature and pressure. There, what is temperature for SATP? 25 degrees Celsius, and pressure will be 1 bar. And NTP for NTP, what is the normal temperature? 0 degrees Celsius again. And what will be pressure for NTP? 1 atm, remember. And 1 atm and 1 bar, what will be slightly more than what? What will be greater than what? 1 atm is slightly greater than 1 bar. Okay. So 1 bar is equal to 0.987 atm. Write down that. 1 bar equals to 1 bar pressure is equal to 0.987, descending order take 0.987 atm. That is what relationship between atm and bar. And now come back to this concept. Now density of a gas at STP is equal to molar mass of the gas. Molar mass means gram molecular mass of the gas by 22.4 liters. It is gram molar volume na. 1 mole of gas. 1 mole of gas occupies how many liters? So 22.4 liters. 22.4 liters at STP. At STP conditions, 1 mole of any gas will occupy how many liters? 22.4 liters. So this is called gram molar volume. Gram molar volume means the volume of 1 gram mole. So what is density of gas at STP conditions? Molar mass of the gas divided by molar volume. That is 22.4 liters. Okay. So mass by volume only, not generally. Molar mass by molar volume. Mass by volume is what? Density, like that. So now for nitrogen, density of nitrogen at STP is equal to gram molecular mass of nitrogen 28 divided by 22.4 liters. That will be what now here? This value. So it is in what, which units now here? Gram per liter we have taken. What will be units of density for gases? Gram per liter we take. Next, density of oxygen gas at STP is equal to what? Gram molar volume, gram molar mass of the oxygen 32 by what? 22.4 liters. So like this, what now here? 43 means what here? 32 by 22.4 liters will be the density of oxygen at STP. So density of any gas is equal to what? No? Density of any gas at STP is equal to the gram molar mass of the gas divided by gram molar volume. Okay. Next, already we have discussed about Dalton's law. Na? So Dalton's law of partial pressure states what? The total pressure of a gaseous mixture of non-reacting gases is equal to the sum of partial pressures of all the individual gases in that mixture. That is Dalton's law of partial pressures. Now another law here. Now the similar type of law is called what? Another law called law of partial volumes. Now law of partial pressures we have discussed. Dalton's law of partial pressures. Now another law is Amagat's law of partial volumes. Now Amagat's law of partial volumes. Previous law is what? Dalton's law of partial pressures, that one. But here Amagat's law of partial volumes we have take here. So another law which is really equivalent to the law of partial pressures. To the Dalton's law of partial pressures, this law is what? Exactly equivalent and related to the partial volumes. Now here, instead of partial pressures, it is related to what? Partial volumes of the gases. Is known as what? Law of partial volumes, given by whom? Amagat. Okay. So according to this law, according to Amagat's law of partial volumes, when two or more gases which do not react chemically are kept, when two or more gases are kept in a closed vessel, the total volume exerted by the mixture of two or more gases we have taken, the total volume exerted by the mixture of gases is equal to what? The total volume is equal to the sum of partial volumes of individual gases. Previously what we have taken, the total pressure of the mixture is equal to sum of partial pressures we have taken. But now we are taking what? The total volume of the gaseous mixture of non-reacting gases is equal to the sum of partial volumes of individual gases we are taking now here. So thus V total volume of the gaseous mixture is equal to partial volume of first gas plus partial volume of second gas plus partial volume of third gas plus so on. So whatever the number of gases taken, the partial volumes of all the gases will be taken here. So where V1, V2, V3 are partial volumes of gases 1, 2 and 3 respectively. So for first gas partial volume V1, for second gas V2, for third gas V3. So this is what Amagat's law of partial volumes. Now the very important law, another important law is what? Graham's law of diffusion and effusion. Okay. Suppose in the room where you are sitting, already some gas is there. What is that? Air is there. Air is the mixture or single gas. It is already mixture. Air is what? Mixture which contains nitrogen gas, oxygen gas, carbon dioxide gas, and a little bit inert gases. Okay, small quantities of argon will be there in the air. Now, in the air, we have taken doop stick. The other way, we opened one scent bottle. At one corner of the closed room, you have opened what? Scent bottle, perfume bottle. When you open the perfume bottle, what happens there? The gas, the perfume gas present in that will be coming outside. That will be intermixing with what? All the gases in the room. In the room, already some gases there in the air. So with all those gases, this perfume also will be intermixing. That intermixing of gases is called what? Intermixing of gases is called diffusion. So diffusion is nothing but diffusion is the process of spontaneous spreading and intermixing. Spontaneous spreading and intermixing of gases to form what? Homogeneous mixture. Whenever two or more gases intermix with each other, always the gaseous mixture will be a homogeneous mixture. Remember, a gaseous mixture, gas 1 plus gas 2 plus gas 3, when they intermix with each other, the mixture formed must be always homogeneous mixture. If you take air, Air is homogeneous mixture, heterogeneous mixture. Air is homogeneous mixture. Air is what? Homogeneous mixture. And what is the what here? Air plus perfume, again homogeneous mixture. Air is already homogeneous mixture. With that air, what is mixing now? What is intermixing here? Perfume gas is intermixing. Therefore, we get what? Homogeneous mixture. So this intermixing will be irrespective of force of gravity. Irrespective of force of gravity. When perfume molecules are moving in the room, in the air, when the perfume molecules are moving, are they experiencing gravity, gravitational force of attraction? No, because each molecule of the gas is very tiny, very small in size, very less mass for each molecule. For a single molecule of the perfume molecule, for each molecule of the perfume gas, the weight will be very less. For each molecule of nitrogen in the air, the molecule is very less. So as the mass is very less for each gas molecule, there is no gravitational force of attraction on gas molecules. That's why when the gases are intermixing with each other, there is no force of gravity on the gas molecules because they are very tiny particles and with very negligible mass, each molecule. So what is diffusion here? The process of spontaneous spreading and intermixing of gases to form what? Homogeneous mixture, irrespective of force of gravity. Yeah, why we use the word spontaneous? The mixing will be taking place on its own, remember. Intermixing will take place on its own. There is no external force required here. There is no external force required for intermixing of the gases, remember. That's why this is called what now? Spontaneous intermixing. Okay, they mix on their own here. They mix on their own. There is no requirement of any external aid. External help is not required there. That's what we said here, spontaneous intermixing. So the spontaneous spreading and intermixing of gases to form what? Homogeneous mixture, irrespective of what? Force of gravity. Okay, so next one, what we have, what is there here? While effusion, okay, diffusion, this definition. While effusion is the escape of gas. Effusion is what now? Escape of a gas molecule, means for gas molecules through a tiny hole, through a small hole, okay, such as what? Pinhole on the balloon. So on the balloon, on the surface of the balloon, if pinhole is there, small hole is there, through that pinhole, that is through the tiny hole, the escape of the gas molecules is called what? Effusion. Effusion is what? The escape of gas molecules through a tiny hole, such as what? Pinhole on the balloon. And what is diffusion? Spontaneous spreading and intermixing of gases. So this is difference between diffusion and effusion. Okay. Next, all gases spontaneously diffuse into one another. All gases spontaneously diffuse into one another when they are brought into contact. When two gases are brought into contact with each other, all the two gases will be intermixing with each other. Okay, and diffusion into a vacuum will take place much more rapidly than diffusion into another place. Okay, vacuum means what? Any medium will be there. There won't be any gaseous medium, liquid medium, solid medium. That is called vacuum. When there is no medium, that is called vacuum. So diffusion into a vacuum will take place much more rapidly. Why the speed of diffusion will be more in vacuum? Why the rate of diffusion of what gas is more? Why speed of diffusion of gas is more in vacuum? In vacuum, there is no opposition by other molecules, because in vacuum there is no medium, no gas molecules, no liquid molecules, no solid molecules. So there is no opposition to the diffusion process. That's why the diffusion into a vacuum will take place much more rapidly than what? Diffusion into another place. Diffusion into another place. Is the concept clear here? So it is about diffusion into vacuum and diffusion into another medium. Okay. The next one, both the rate of diffusion of a gas and its rate of effusion. Rate of diffusion means what? The speed of diffusion. The rate of diffusion meaning what? The speed of diffusion. So the rate of diffusion and rate of effusion both depend on what your molar mass. Molar mass. Okay. molar mass and rate of diffusion will be directly means what how they are rated we'll discuss now here. Lighter gases diffuse faster than what? Heavier gases. If you take lighter gas and heavier gas, which will be diffusing faster? The lighter gas will be diffusing faster than what? Heavier gases. And the gas with highest rate of diffusion is what? Or a hydrogen. Why? Hydrogen molecular formula is what? H2. H2, what is the gram molar mass? 2 grams per mole. Only 2 grams will be there for 1 mole molecules. Okay, so very less molecular mass is there. So lightest gas is what? Hydrogen gas. So this lightest gas has very less molecular mass. Therefore, the rate of diffusion or rate of effusion will be highest. Okay, so according to the law, according to what? Which law here? Graham's law. So according to Graham's law of diffusion, according to Graham's law of diffusion, at constant pressure and temperature, the rate of diffusion or rate of effusion of a gas is inversely proportional to, okay, the rate of diffusion, small r here, rate of diffusion is inversely proportional to, indirectly proportional to the square root of its vapor density. Square root of vapor density we say, square root of density we say, square root of gram molecular weight we say. So rate of diffusion is inversely proportional to the square root of what? Density, square root of vapor density, square root of molecular weight. These all things we have to take care. Thus rate of diffusion R is inversely proportional to what here? Square root of D. Okay, and inversely proportional to square root of molecular weight, and inversely proportional to square root of vapor density Vd. Vd means what? Vapor density. A capital M if you take here, molecular weight. Small d if you take here, density. So rate of diffusion is inversely proportional to square root of density of the gas. So this is what now here the Graham's law of diffusion. Okay, the remaining part we'll discuss in the next class. Okay, ma'am.